A tired human diplomat whispers a forbidden wish about an alien queen, never knowing she can hear every word, and that one careless moment is about to rewrite the fate of two worlds. Adrian Moss hated cryosleep. The transport shuttle said it had perfect artificial gravity, smooth flight control, and the best comfort systems humanity could design. Adrian disagreed. His stomach felt like it was still floating somewhere between Earth and Ethery Prime, and it was not happy about the journey. He pressed his forehead gently against the viewport and tried to breathe slowly. Outside, Ethery Prime grew larger with every passing second. What first looked like silver and violet clouds slowly shaped into cities. Impossible cities that rose from the ground like frozen music. Towers twisted upward in elegant spirals. Forests shimmered with soft glowing light even under daylight. It didn't look real. "You look green," Ambassador Kelso said from across the cabin without looking up from her glowing holoscreen. "I feel green," Adrian muttered. "Try to look less green when we land," she added calmly. "The ether can see colors we can't. For all we know, green means, I'm about to vomit in front of your queen. That would be unfortunate." "That's not helping," Adrian said, but he sat up straighter anyway. He reminded himself why he was here. Their main xenolinguist had fallen sick hours before departure, and Adrian, a mid-level linguist with more academic papers than field experience, had been pushed into the role. He'd had 6 hours to prepare for humanity's most important diplomatic mission in decades. 6 hours. He had spent 4 of them sleeping. The shuttle touched down so softly Adrian almost didn't notice. No shaking. No turbulence. Just a quiet whisper, like the ship itself respected where it had arrived. The airlock opened with a chime that sounded like music. Cool air brushed his face as he stepped onto the landing platform, which looked like solid light shaped into glass. It held his weight perfectly. Adrian stared. He tried not to stare. He failed immediately. Their escort waited nearby, tall, graceful, dressed in flowing robes that shifted color with every movement. The figure's long, elegant ears swept back in shining arcs. Their expression was calm, curious. "Welcome, guests from Earth," the escort said in perfect English, though their lips didn't quite match the sounds. "I am Threshold Guardian Vex. Please follow the luminance path. The Queen awaits." "The Queen?" Adrian blurted. Vex tilted their heads slightly. "Queen Valera greets all important visitors personally. It is our way." Adrian swallowed hard. Today. Right now. He was meeting alien royalty. Fantastic. They walked through corridors that seemed to curve in impossible ways. Walls shimmered like liquid crystal. Other ether paused to watch them, their expressions open and curious. Adrian noticed their ears first. Everyone did. It was the only feature that broke the illusion of familiarity. They looked almost human, except not. The ceremonial hall opened before them, vast enough to hold its own sky. Small clouds drifted lazily near the ceiling. Gardens floated in midair. Through a transparent dome, Adrian could see Ethery Prime's 3 moons glowing softly. And there she was. Queen Valera stood at the center, surrounded by her court. She was tall, regal, dressed in something that shimmered like captured starlight. Her dark hair framed a face that carried quiet intelligence and effortless authority. Her silver ears reflected the light around her. But it was her eyes that stopped him. Right. Alive. She looked amused, as if she knew a secret no one else did. The introductions blurred together. Adrian somehow remembered to bow. He spoke the formal greeting without tripping over his words. He didn't faint, which felt like a personal victory. Queen Valera's voice was warm and smooth. She spoke with humor and grace, turning tense moments into laughter. Watching her work was like watching a master musician, every word perfectly placed. She was magnificent. The banquet that followed was unlike anything Adrian had experienced. Plates floated gently to each guest, carrying foods that looked beautiful and terrifying. One dish tasted like warm sunlight. Another changed flavor depending on his mood, which he found deeply unsettling. He settled for something that looked like fruit and hoped it wouldn't explode. Feeling overwhelmed, Adrian slipped away to a quiet balcony overlooking the glowing city. The three moons cast overlapping shadows across the gardens. Music, or maybe the city itself, hummed softly in the distance. He leaned on the railing and exhaled. Through the crowd, he spotted Queen Valera again. She moved gracefully, listening, smiling, playing her role perfectly. But something in her expression felt distant. Lonely. The thought surprised him. Without thinking, because Adrian had a long history of speaking before thinking, the words slipped out in a whisper. I wish she were my wife. The moment the sentence left his mouth, horror flooded his brain. Did he just say that out loud? He froze. His face burned. Thankfully, no one seemed close enough to hear his moment of professional self-destruction. Jet lag, he told himself. Definitely jet lag. Across the terrace, Queen Valera stopped mid-conversation. Her head turned slowly. Her eyes scanned the crowd. And found him. Their gazes locked across the distance. Adrian's stomach dropped. She smiled. Not a polite diplomatic smile. A knowing one. And Adrian suddenly had the terrible feeling that his wish had not been as private as he thought. Adrian did not sleep well. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Queen Valera smiling at him across the terrace. Not the polite smile she gave diplomats. Not the formal smile meant for ceremony. This one felt personal. Which was impossible. He groaned and buried his face in the strange, glowing pillow provided by the palace. It gently warmed as if trying to comfort him. It did not help. A soft chiming sound filled the room. Adrian sat up so fast he nearly fell off the floating bed. A holographic figure appeared in the air, Threshold Guardian Vex, calm as ever. Good morning, Dr. Moss, Vex said. Her luminance requests your presence in the quantum gardens. Adrian blinked. The Queen wants to see me? Yes. Privately? Yes. His stomach dropped again. Did she say why? No. The hologram vanished. Adrian stared at the empty air. This was it. He had offended alien royalty. Humanity's first contact mission would end with him being politely escorted off the planet. Maybe vaporized. Hopefully politely. He dressed in record time, splashed water on his face, and followed the glowing path projected by the palace navigation system. The corridors felt quieter this morning. Every step echoed in his ears. The quantum gardens were nothing like the grand halls he'd seen before. The air shimmered softly. Trees grew in spiral patterns that hurt his brain if he looked too long. Flowers appeared and disappeared in flashes of color. Water flowed upward from a fountain, breaking into glowing mist. And there, sitting calmly on a floating bench, was Queen Valera. She wore simple robes today, at least simple by royal standards. Without the crown, she looked lighter, more relaxed. Dr. Moss, she said gently, please sit. Adrian obeyed, legs shaking slightly. I want to start by saying, she continued, you are not in trouble. He let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. That's good, he said, because I've imagined at least 7 terrible scenarios since waking up. Valera smiled faintly. You spoke honestly last night. Adrian's heart stopped. I apologize, he said quickly. I was tired. It was inappropriate. Completely unprofessional. I'm not offended, she said. That surprised him enough to silence him. I heard what you said, Valera continued. Our hearing is advanced. Especially mine. And I've been thinking about it. Adrian stared at the glowing fountain. I didn't mean to insult you. You didn't, she said softly. You said I looked lonely. Silence settled between them. Do I? She asked. Adrian swallowed. He could lie. Diplomacy said he should lie. But something in her expression made honesty feel right. Yes, he said quietly. You're surrounded by people all the time. But they talk to the crown, not to you. You handle everything perfectly, but you look like someone carrying too much alone. Valera didn't react immediately. She watched the water spiral upward, her expression unreadable. No one says things like that to me, she admitted. Everyone is careful, respectful, strategic. I'm not very strategic, Adrian said. Mostly just tired and accidentally honest. That earned a real laugh. I invited you here, she said, turning toward him, because your honesty felt refreshing. For a moment, I wasn't the queen. I was just a person being seen. Adrian shifted awkwardly. Well, I'm glad my social failure helped. It wasn't a failure, she said. It was kindness. Her words settled warmly in his chest. They began walking through the garden. Paths formed beneath their feet, glowing softly. The air felt peaceful in a way Adrian didn't have words for. Being queen, Valera said, means every relationship is political. Every conversation has purpose. Even affection is calculated. That sounds exhausting, Adrian said. It is. She stopped beside a tree whose leaves shimmered like stars. You wished I were your wife, she said calmly. Not because of power. Not because of status. But because you thought I was lonely. Adrian felt his face heat. Still sounds weird when you say it out loud. I found it beautiful, she said simply. He blinked. Beautiful? Yes, it was pure. No agenda. Just a human seeing another person. Adrian didn't know what to say to that. So, Valera continued, her tone lighter now, I would like to spend time with someone who talks to me like that. Not to the crown. To me. You mean, Adrian gestured vaguely. Spend time? Yes. As friends. Or whatever it becomes. His brain struggled to process the sentence. You want to hang out? He asked. Valera laughed. Yes, Dr. Moss. I would like to hang out. That might cause a diplomatic incident. Probably, she said cheerfully. But I am the queen. That's a terrifying sentence. They continued walking, the garden glowing around them. For the first time since arriving on Ethery Prime, Adrian felt calm. He wasn't a replacement linguist. He wasn't representing humanity. He was just Adrian. And beside him walked a queen who, for a moment, didn't seem like royalty at all, just someone relieved to breathe. When they reached the edge of the garden, Valera turned to him. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For seeing me. Adrian smiled awkwardly. Anytime. She returned the smile, warm, genuine, unmistakably real. And as he followed the glowing path back toward the palace, Adrian realized something important. This was no longer just diplomacy. Something had started. And he had absolutely no idea what would happen next.